Okay, good morning, everyone. And like I said, thank you for having me come out and speak to your group today. I'm here from the USC Family Caregiver Support Center, and I'm just here to give you a quick overview. My name is Jenny Peterson, and I'm a program specialist at the center. And what that basically means is I put together events and programs, and I go out and speak to the public about our center and our services and how we can help family caregivers. So I'm going to go ahead and dive right in. Okay. So I'm going to start with a very famous quote from former First Lady Rosalind Carter. And many of you probably have already heard this quote before. And it goes, "There are only four kinds of people in the world: those who have been caregivers, those who are currently caregivers, those who will be caregivers, and those who will need caregivers." So again, if you've been around caregiving, part of the caregiving community for a while, you probably have heard this quote before. It comes up a lot in the caregiving community. So I'd like to start off with a video of something that was put out by the Association of Community Living. And it's basically about caregivers and what you all go through. So this will kind of introduce what we're going to talk about today. So if I can go ahead and there we go.
Our culture, at least in my family, is that we care for folks at home. And that's hard.
My values as a Native American, that's one of the values that is instilled in us, is to care for your elders.
I didn't fully understand or embrace what it meant to be a caregiver until way, way, way late.
I don't know that I would have said the word caregiver at the time. And I don't think I even knew the word advocate at the time, but I knew that I was in some special place.
I had somebody who actually approached me and just started asking questions about how I was feeling and what was going on. And I think the light bulb went off, and it's like, oh, you know what? There are other people out there that are feeling the same way that I am.
Kimmy came home from the hospital, and for them, so, oh, it's done. Well, not really. It actually just began for us, right?
Josh needs 24-hour hands-on care. You can't just think you're gonna sleep. He needs suctioning constantly. He's on 24-hour feedings. He needs to be turned. He's on an oximeter 24 hours. I mean, it's not like you can just say it's time to go to bed. It's not like that at all.
That's the big challenge for me as the caregiver, is I've got someone who's got some very, very serious cancer, who I believe requires 24-hour care.
The services and supports that I was trying to desperately to put in place for her, as soon as I would get a level of service in place for her, she would, her needs would exceed that level of service. So it felt a bit like being on a hamster wheel.
I mean, I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't going to the doctor for myself, surely not. I wasn't taking time for any breaks to restore myself.
I'm physically tired. Sometimes I get overwhelmed. Probably about 3 months ago, I started to get sick.
I had my first anxiety attack, so that was new for me, and that was something I've never experienced before.
We never took a vacation for the 25 years because we never thought it was going to be 25 years, right?
I've struggled with my own mental health, and seeing how my grandpa is kind of puts more weight on me sometimes. And I try to talk about it, and it can be hard sometimes. And I think it's not just me. I know it's not just me. There's lots of other people who are going through that issue.
lot of us are compromising both our earnings and our retirement.
I am still paying off month by month those medical loans that I took out for her, which I did so gladly. But you know, it's long-term financial implications now, even 4+ years after her death.
I've used up, you know, what I had from 401ks to stock options. Caregiving is a very expensive experience.
I didn't put my career on hold. I just jumped right out of my career and didn't have a plan for getting back in at all, and didn't realize initially how caregiving was going to financially impact me.
There's more to us than the one story.
We don't want to end up at that destination where people say, well, I don't know anything about, I was never taught anything about caregiving, so you know what, someone else has to do it.
You're going to get sick. Your family members are going to get sick. Your kids might get sick. That is a given. So given that that's going to happen, why do we not have a solution for how to help people?
So that's just kind of an overview of caregiving. And like I said, we like to show this video at the beginning of this type of presentation, just so, you know, a lot of people can relate to what they've heard in this video, because they've gone through the same things, or, you know, they've felt the same emotions, and they've experienced the same kind of life experience. So let's talk about who we are. The USC Family Caregiver Support Center is based at USC, and we're the community arm of the School of Gerontology. There's a research arm, and then we happen to be the community arm that kind of goes out and, you know, engages the public and provides services to the public. The USC Family Caregiver Support Center serves family caregivers in Los Angeles County. Now, we like to think of ourselves as a one-stop shop for family caregivers. And so we have a lot of different services that I'll talk about late as we move on in the presentation. But just so you know, we are based at USC, but caregivers can come and get help from the center and not be affiliated with USC at all. We are a state-funded and county-funded program, so we are open to the public. Okay, so there's a lot of times when we talk about our center and, you know, who can come sign up for services, a lot of people will say, oh, well, but I'm not part of the USC system, or I'm not part of the USC health plan, you know, and that really has nothing to do with that. Okay, so now we, as I said, we are the community arm of the USC School of Gerontology, and we do have our offices on actually, I should say just a little bit off campus. And what happens is we actually, instead of having caregivers come to our center, we actually go out and we do home visits, we put on virtual events, we have community events at community centers. And so we're out there in the public all the time talking to family caregivers and trying to really kind of explore what it is that family caregivers go through and how we can help them navigate what we call their caregiving journey. Okay, so we're actually, as I said, we serve Los Angeles County, but of course, because everything is online these days, we have people from all over the state of California who, access our website and look at our resources online. We, have caregivers nationwide who, as I said, call us and visit our website, as well as our YouTube channel, which is open to anyone to kind of go on and look at the educational videos that we have posted on there. So even if people don't live within the LA County area, they're still able to access some of the informational resources that we have. Now, because we are funded by the state and by the county, some of our services, namely the ones where you would get financial assistance or financial support, that would mainly, that actually is the part that is restricted to LA County residents. But as I said, any of the other educational or resource materials are open to, anyone regardless of where they live. Okay. Now, we actually are part of a statewide system of 11 caregiver resource centers. The state of California in 1989 set up the Caregiver Resource Center system because they recognized a need to support family caregivers. And a lot of times people will say, well, why would the state want to support family caregivers? And part of this is because family caregivers are a very large part of the long-term care system within our country, really. So the longer that people are able to take care of their loved ones at home and keep them at home, basically what we call allowing their loved ones to age in place, the better quality of life they can offer to their loved ones. Of course, there does come a point where perhaps safety concerns or other concerns would require someone to place their loved one in a nursing facility. However, the longer that we can delay that for families, the better, because as research has shown, the quality of life for the person with dementia or the person that you're caring for, the quality of life for them to stay at home is much better than when they are placed in a facility. Right now, back to why does the state care about this? Well, the state cares about this because when caregivers are able to keep their loved ones at home, the state actually ends up paying much less for that, right? So if someone were to place their loved one in a facility, the state ends up paying for part of their of their bill a lot of times, right? And so as you can imagine, it is a very costly bill, and you multiply that by however many people are living in facilities, and then you quickly come to see that, hey, that's why the state benefits from funding caregiver support programs such as this, right? So as I said, we are a statewide system. There are 11 caregiver resource centers in California, and we all cover different regions within California. So basically, if you know someone who is a family caregiver living within the state of California, there is a caregiver resource center that covers their area. Now, we, even though we are a statewide system, we do different things, and some of us do have different funding based upon the areas that we're in and the different counties that we serve. So we do have a little bit different funding, but all the same, there is a caregiver resource center in California that serves you if you're a California resident. Okay, so keep that in mind. If you have any family members who maybe don't live in LA County, maybe they live in San Bernardino County or San Diego County, there is a caregiver resource center that serves each of those counties and can help them. Okay, so this is a short video about the California Caregiver Resource Centers that I wanted to show you, and it talks to you about what the Caregiver Resource Centers do.
Many Californians provide help to a loved one living with Alzheimer's, dementia, or a chronic debilitating condition. This experience changes the lives of friend or family caregivers forever, with devastating effects on those providing this long-term care. Being a caregiver can be overwhelming, but you are not alone. We are here to help. Founded in 1984, the California Caregiver Resource Centers are a network of 11 nonprofit centers throughout the state offering free and low-cost support to unpaid friend or family caregivers. Together, we serve every county in California, providing a range of services from counseling and care planning to legal and financial consulting and even respite care to give you the caregiver resources you need. The CRCs are united by shared values emphasizing choice, collaboration, innovation, quality, participation, respect, diversity, and inclusion. There is support wherever you are. You do not have to go on this caregiver journey alone. Visit our website, caregivercalifornia.org, to connect with your local Caregiver Resource Center today.
So that kind of gives you a little bit overview of what the Caregiver Resource Centers do. And just before we move on, I'd like to also point out that our center, because we serve LA County, is also known as the Los Angeles Caregiver Resource Center. So we are actually known by two names, the USC Family Caregiver Support Center and Los Angeles Caregiver Resource Center. Those two are one and the same. We are both of those things. So just in case you hear both terms and you get confused, just remember that they're the same thing. Okay. So let's talk about how do we serve family caregivers? Well, we offer caregiver assessments, and what that means is when people first contact us, we will set them up with one of our social workers. And at the center, we call our social workers family consultants. And the social workers will talk to the family caregiver and find out, what is going on with your situation? What are some of the needs that you have? What are some of the resources that you're looking for? And based upon that assessment, then the family consultant can help our caregivers link up with community resources and services that they may be eligible for, as well as provide them with information about, maybe some of the things that they're going through. Right. We can also set you up with support groups that our family consultants run and sign you up for any of our caregiver classes or trainings. So there's a lot of different things at our center that we can set you up with once we get a caregiver assessment going and we know, okay, what is it that's happening with you as a caregiver and how can we help with that? Okay. We also do case management, which means we will check in with our family caregivers, with our clients every so often, and to find out, what is going on. Has anything in in your situation changed? Do you have any additional needs for any other community resources? Do you have any questions about your caregiving that you need answered, right? So our family consultants will follow up with you throughout your caregiving journey and really try to, as I said before, support you, right? Because as we know, there's a lot of support out there for the patients, but not quite as much support out there for the people or the families who are caring for them. A lot of times, you'll go out into the community and other people will ask you, well, how is, your mom? How is your spouse? How is your auntie, right? They ask about the person that you're caring for, but very rarely do they ask, how are you doing as, as a caregiver? What is going on with you? How are you feeling? How's your health, right? And so when people call us, they call us a lot of times thinking, oh, these are resources for the person that I'm caring for my care receiver, right? Or for the patient. And then when we tell them, no, 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 these services are for you as a family caregiver, because you're the one who is also going through a hard time trying to navigate all this, right? It's for a lot of people, it's very surprising, and they say, oh my gosh, what, these are for me? Nobody ever cares about me. Nobody ever asks how I'm doing. And so it's a very different experience, I find, for family caregivers who are not used to people asking how they're doing and what they're going through, right? Another thing we offer is short-term counseling. So we do have short-term counseling, 6-week counseling for family caregivers with licensed family therapists. And we have contracts with different therapists, independent therapists, and we can refer you out for short-term 6-week counseling that our program is able to sponsor or pay for. Okay. Same thing with legal and financial consultations. We have contracts with elder law attorneys who can give you guidance on any legal and financial issues that you may have. So we do have a relationship with these elder law attorneys, and we can help to pay for that initial consultation with the elder law attorney. Other services that we do offer supplemental aid and paying for home safety devices such as a lift chair, a bathtub transfer bench. We've had grab bars installed in clients' homes, for if their loved one is at risk of falls, right? So there's a lot of different things that we can help you with. One of the biggest reasons that people call us is they hear from maybe perhaps other agencies or other organizations that we have a respite award program. And what does that mean? Well, our respite award program helps you to pay for someone to come in and watch your loved one, so that you can get away for, a couple hours. Maybe you need to go, get groceries and there's nobody to watch your loved one. Or maybe you just want to go out and get a haircut, have your hair done, right? And you need someone to watch your loved one. Those types of things, we can offer respite support, financial assistance to help to pay for someone to come and watch your loved one, so that you can, get some rest, get some respite and some time away from your caregiving duties to take care of what you need to take care of. As I said, this is one of the most common reasons that people end up calling us, is because they hear that we have this respite program. And while it is true that we do have funding for this, the family caregiver does have to live in Los Angeles County. and there are certain, requirements that they do have to meet, right? So it's not kind of a free for all. The other thing is that we don't give people, you can't call us and get respite the next day, basically, right? Because as you can imagine, because it's financial assistance, a lot of people are interested in this program, in the respite award program, and so we do have a lot of people on that list. Now, it kind of depends on the time of year and the funding that we have at that point. So you may have to wait a couple of months in order, to get to the top of the list. But what I would suggest is, you never know when you might need that financial assistance, right? So what's best is to call in and go through, all the assessments and be signed up as a client. And then when it gets to be your turn, then you can, take advantage of that. Or if you're not ready yet, you can say, no, I don't quite need it yet, but can you just keep me, at the list, just when my name comes up again. So these are some of the tips and tricks, for signing up for our respite program is, don't wait until you really, really, really need that respite award, the financial assistance, to sign up for our program. Don't wait until you need it to sign up for our program. Make sure you do it ahead of time so that, when you get to that point where you need it, it's there for you, right? And it's accessible for you. Okay. So these are, as I said, on these services on the screen are some of the more direct one-on-one services that we offer to our clients, right? We also offer referrals to other agencies and community partners. So even if you say you called us and maybe you're not quite a good fit for our program, but we know that there are other programs or agencies in our community that you might be able to benefit from. We can refer you out to those other agencies, right? We can, we our goal is to never kind of leave you without without a referral, without an information, or without without a resource that you can kind of explore further, right? Even if it is that you're perhaps not quite the right fit for this program, we like to leave you with something that that you can explore further that might be able to help you. Okay. Now, how do you sign up for our program? One of the easiest things is you can go online onto our website. We have a secure online portal and it's called CareNav, and you can sign up for it. You can make a profile in CareNav and fill in all your information. And one of our intake specialists, Ashley or Crystal, will give you a phone call. They'll say, hey, I saw that you filled out your information in CareNav, and we'd like to talk to you a little bit more about what you're interested in, what you're hoping to get out of our program, and how we can help you, right? So they will call you back and talk to you a little bit more about your situation and see how you can benefit from our support services, right? The other way to do it, if you don't want to log in online or do any of that stuff, is you can call our toll-free number, and it's 1-800-540-4442. Okay, you can call our toll-free number, and again, you'll probably speak to Ashley or Crystal because there are intake specialists right now, and they will go through the same type of questions with you, is try to find out a little bit more about you, what you're going through, what is your situation, and how we can help you, right? And once our intake specialists take down your basic information, then you will get assigned to one of our social workers. Again, our fancy name for social work, our fancy name for them is, they're family consultants, and they will help you. They will call you and talk to you a little bit more in depth, right, about the things that you're looking for and how we can support you. Okay. So those are kind of, how you can, two ways that you can sign up for our center. And you can see this is on the screen. This is kind of a little bit of it's a screenshot of CareNav and how you can use it. Now, I kind of think of CareNav, I like to tell people, because people may not necessarily understand what CareNav is. I like to tell people that CareNav is a little bit like, how you go to the doctor and you end up having like an online patient portal that you can see kind of like, oh, these are my test results. These are, maybe some of the things that, some of the notes that, that the doctor made for me on what I need to do, so that's kind of what CareNav is like. That's kind of like how the family consultant kind of sets up quick tip sheets and introduces things to you, and maybe recommends some different things. We call that a caregiver action plan. How can what are some things we can work on together, and how we can support you. So that would be in your CareNav dashboard. And as I said, I'd liken it to, when you go to the doctor and they have like a patient portal for you. You don't have to use CareNav. If you become a client, you don't have to use CareNav. We do have a lot of clients who don't end up using it. But it is a service that's, there for you. And as you all probably know, sometimes you're just up late at night and you need the answers. And this is, a good way to kind of be able to access some of those resources and information that's available to you. Okay. So as I said, we do also put out education, community ed events, and we do put out educational materials. And this is an example of something that we give our newer caregivers. It's a family caregiver checklist. So it does go over certain aspects of caregiving that perhaps newer caregivers are unfamiliar with, and it kind of gives just a brief overview of things for people to think about, things perhaps that they may need to do a little bit more research on, so that they can have all their ducks in a row, basically, right? So this is not the only educational quick tip sheet that we have. Sharon earlier was talking about some of the other quick tip sheets that she was able to see. We do have, community care options. Here's another example of, something that we have available for family caregivers to look through. As well as our self-care for family caregiver tip sheets. All these tip sheets are available on our website. So if you want to kind of take a look at all of those, you can go ahead and go to our website. It's losangelescrc.usc.edu, and I could put it in the chat for you in a little bit. Once I'm, not still talking on the screen. But, there are a variety of different ways that we can help family caregivers. I feel like sometimes, the hardest part is that first step where you feel like, okay, I'm ready to sign up, right? I'm ready to sign up. A lot of times what we've found is people won't call us in the beginning of their caregiving. In the first year or two, maybe in the first 5 years, people will think, okay, I can handle it. I don't need any help. I don't need to, I don't need to talk to anyone. I don't need to reach out. Right. And it's as the caregiving goes on and the caregiving journey goes on, then they start to feel like, oh, wait a minute, no, I do need help. And, where do I turn to? Right. And so what we found is looking at when caregivers call us in their caregiving journey, we found that many caregivers actually end up calling us after they've been caregiving for about 5 years. Okay. And you all know that 5 years is a long time in family caregiving, right? So there's quite a bit that can happen in 5 years. And so you can get very overwhelmed, you can get very burnt out during that time. And that's something that we're trying to avoid, right? So don't wait to call for help. Okay. It doesn't hurt to be signed up for our center. And if you feel like, oh, I don't need any of these services right now, that's fine, but at least they're there and they're available for you when you start to feel like, oh, okay, I might need to start taking advantage of some of these resources, right? So, and as always, you can attend our support groups. We have a lot of different support groups for family caregivers, and we have educational events. We have conferences online. We have workshops online. We also have evidence-based trainings. So what that means is these programs have been they've been written and developed and researched, right, to actually show that caregivers who go through these evidence-based programs are getting something out of them. Perhaps they, are reducing their stress, or they experience an improvement in their moods, or maybe they feel more empowered because they feel more educated about what is happening, to their loved one. So these are different things that we offer, okay? And they go all throughout the year. And if for the most updated information about what we're offering for family caregivers, you can go to our website and visit our events calendar. And there's that's the most updated information that we have for our upcoming events. Okay, so that's all I have. Oh, and I see Maria and Mr. Dixon. Hi. And if you have any questions, let me